Hello and welcome to the Marketing Mix. This week I am talking about email marketing challenges that small businesses have. And rather than talking to you myself and telling you what I think, I've got two small businesses with me today who are going to tell us a little bit more about the challenges that they face with email marketing. Now, this session came about through my survey. So I do a survey towards the end of every year where I ask people various questions. But one of the things that I ask them is what they want to learn more about this year and what they want to get better at. And email marketing came out top of that list, which is music to my ears because I've been banging on about it for about the last 6 years about why small businesses should do email marketing. So I'm really happy to be able to be here today with Carly and with Claire to share some of their challenges and let you understand. I'm going to give them some tips live so you can follow those tips as well. There's going to be a lot more about email marketing this year from me, so keep your eye out for that. Now, the reason, just quickly before I hand over to Carly and Claire to introduce themselves, the reason topmost reason I think that you should be using email marketing is the return that you can get on it. So on average, for every pound that you spend on email marketing, you can get £35.41 in return. So imagine that. Imagine selling your products and your services using your email marketing tool. So it's a really quantifiable return that you can get, and it's really important that you maximize this tool to build relationships with existing and potential customers. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Carly to introduce herself and tell us a bit about her business.
Hi everybody, my name's Carly and I have a skincare brand called Beautiful, spelled with two E's, Beautiful. And the play on the word beautiful is because I'm a beekeeper. So all my skincare utilises beeswax and honey. So that's how the brand came about, that I was a beekeeper as a hobby. And as I was learning about bees, I was also learning about the use of beeswax and honey in skincare. We all know the story of Cleopatra with bathing in honey and milk, and what glorious skin she had. I then read about how honey had been used in the First World War on wounds, and that statement just really grabbed me and made me think, oh my God, why don't we go back to that? Why can't we use natural alternatives instead of, lotions and potions, as we call them? So I did a bit of investigating. I did a bit of local research and then started playing around with products at home for myself and my family. I made a product to soothe my hands that get really cracked, sore and dry in the winter, and I put lots of honey in it based on the statement of honey being used in the First World War. And the balm worked an absolute treat. He was then 3 at the time. My son's eczema flared up. He would go on there. Within 3 days, it had gone. So I then shared this balm and some lip balm with some friends who loved it, and they all said to me, "Why don't you do something with this?" Really? Do you reckon I can do that? So that's how it came about. And I've been here since 2013. Delighted to say that it's going well. Always room to grow, always room to expand. And email marketing is something that I don't do, so I need to do it. So that's why I'm here today.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And Claire, do you want to tell us, I know you mentioned you've got 2 businesses. Do you want to just give us an overview?
Yeah, hi. First of all, Carly, I'm going to need some of that balm because my hands are a mess. We've got a new puppy.
Get it done.
all the time, and they're a mess. But yeah, I've got 2 businesses that I need help email marketing with. One of them is an aesthetic laser distribution company, and we have the distribution rights in the UK and Ireland for a little laser that treats thread veins. And we're just starting out with that. We need to get the email going for that. And the other thing that I've got going, it's called Mum Shoulders, and it's a group. I get quite passionate about this, so if I cry, I'm sorry. It's a group that's been born out of my struggle of being a parent with kids who've got additional needs, and feeling that as a mum, you just get ignored. There's stuff there like to help the kids. There's stuff, help your kids with this, help your kids with that. But what Mum Shoulders is going to do is help Mum. So help them to thrive and to nourish them and find what gives them joy and makes them happy so that they can go on to be the best person that they can.
That's incredible.
Totally empathise with that. I have a special needs child as well.
I was just going to say, one of my friends.
One of the reasons my business came about as well.
It's not easy, is it? And as mums, just get told, off you go deal with it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
Or you get told that you're wrong. Paranoid parent.
Don't. Yeah. At one point, I got told, do you think you maybe need to increase your anxiety meds, Claire? And do you know what was wrong? My daughter had a massive hole in her heart and needed open heart surgery. The doctor told me that I needed to increase my anxiety meds.
That's tough. It's tough. Well, we're going to help you today with the email marketing part, and you're going to help mums that really do need that help. I can imagine that there's quite a lot of them. I'll just say hello to Richard. Richard's one of my regular viewers and he's in my Facebook group. So it's nice to have you here today. If you have questions along the way, if you've got any of your own challenges or you'd like some additional tips based on what Carly and Claire say, do put them into the comments and I'll go through as many as I can. But I'm just going to get on now and go through. I think I'll start with Claire because I think a lot of people have this struggle. Claire, do you want to explain? You said to me that you've got no list and I'll let you take it from there.
I know email marketing is important, but I don't have a list and I don't know how to build a list because obviously giving someone your email address, you're trusting them. And I want somebody to trust me enough to give me their email address, but then I want to provide them content that's going to nourish them and they're going to be thankful they signed up. So it's getting the email address to begin with, the systems that we use, but I know you said that we're covering that tomorrow.
Yeah.
In your masterclass tomorrow. The systems that we use, and then what we put in the email, and then the title of the email, because I get so caught up with it. And I'm like, oh,
that's a lot. Well, let's start with the beginning bit of not having a list. So I tell this story quite a lot, but when I started my business in 2016, I didn't have an email list, and my first newsletter went to me and my husband. I will say that he went on to unsubscribe, and it's still a bone of contention. But he probably doesn't need the marketing tips. So it was just a question of, first of all, having somewhere to send that email, getting used to actually creating it and sending it out and putting it out there so that people could see it. And it was just the two of us reading it. But obviously, I wanted people who needed my help to join my email list. So right at the outset, I decided that what I wanted to do was send an email every week. I wanted it to be short and I wanted it to be practical. So that was my approach with email marketing. It needed to be something that people looked forward to receiving. I didn't want it to be something that landed in people's inboxes and they just went, oh, I'll check that out if I've got time. So that's what I've stuck to. I very rarely sell in my emails, and it's all about one thing normally. It's practical, gives people advice, and that's it. But the way I grew my list was lots of different things. But again, the way I decided to do my email marketing, I also sat back and thought, right, well, how am I going to ask people to join my list? What is going to make them say yes? And if you saw the marketing mix 2 weeks ago with Matthew Montoya from Constant Contact, he said something that blew my mind. He said, when somebody joins your email list, that's their first yes to you. That's the first time they say yes when they hand over their email address. Yes, I want to interact with you. And what you need to do is keep sending them valuable content, content that's valuable, that entertains, that educates, that makes them keep saying yes until they buy. So for me, it's less about, can I send you an email, and more about what value is my email going to bring to your life? And it's helping people understand that and helping people understand how often they're going to hear from you so that they feel comfortable handing over their email address. And I call this your value statement. So what are you going to get? And how often are you going to get it? And that's my promise to you. So mine is, it's weekly. And what you get is marketing tips that help you to find your inner marketer. And that's what I do. I don't, start talking about, I don't start talking about finance, because that's not the thing. And that's not what I promise people to do. And I deliver on that promise. So it's all about how you ask. And then it's the places that you ask. So just take a piece of paper and write down all the places that your target audience hangs out. Where are they, online and offline? In the real world, where do they hang out? And those are all the places that you ask. And it's quite simple in that way. If you don't get yourself tied up in knots about it, and just take it as a methodical approach. Does that help?
Yeah. So what would you go into like a Facebook group and just say, "Hi, I'm doing this. If you wanted to hear more, click here."
In a group, I probably wouldn't do it straight away. If you don't own the group, I wouldn't.
Well,
if you're just a member, if somebody sort of starts a conversation, and you think them joining your email list would help, then absolutely say, if I think this will help you, here's a link for you to join my email newsletter. But you can ask on your Facebook page, in your Facebook group if you have one, on your website, on all the other social channels that you're on your email signature, on your invoices, at your checkout, on your business cards. Carly, I don't know if you do trade shows, but if you have flyers that you're giving away, you can have a QR code. In the last 2 years, the QR code has made such a comeback. It's the only thing that's done well out of COVID. But people are used to using QR codes now. So a QR code on a leaflet that takes people straight to your sign up page. So just make a list of all the places that you can ask and start asking in those places. And then people will start joining as soon as they understand what they're going to get and how often they're going to get it, and be transparent that, you're the only person who has access to their data. I think connected with that, Carly, you were talking about not wanting to annoy your readers.
Yeah, so I get loads of emails, and I ignore them and they annoy me. To be fair, most of them I probably haven't subscribed to, so they've just inundated me. But I don't want to be the person whose email is annoying and it gets ignored.
Okay, so you just hit the nail on the head there. Most of them you've not subscribed to.
Yeah.
And when we don't subscribe to things and people send us emails, it's a bit of an intrusion, because we like to keep our inboxes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're for the places that we really want people to interact with us. Yeah. Social media is different. You'll go on Facebook and there'll be a page post and you'll interact with somebody that's commented on there and you don't even know that person. But in our inboxes, we want that to be more personal and on one-on-one with people that we've agreed to have that relationship with. So the number one thing is to get permission. So having those sign-up boxes and using your email tool to set up those sign-up pages will help you to manage that. And once people have signed up, then you know that they've said that first yes. And then it's all about delivering that valuable content. So when you go back to your value statement, what did you say that you would send them? It might be, tips on how to use your products, maybe product exclusive. So if you do offers, there might be better discounts or better offers for your list. Exclusive access to you and your knowledge. Maybe it could be that you every month you might do an invitation only forum where people can come and ask you questions about your product range, about the benefits of using honey related products. So it's about providing that value so that when people get your email, it's more about, oh, this is really great, I want to know about this, rather than, oh, just here again. But getting them to open that email is the challenge. So number one, they need to recognize that it's from you. So it needs to have your business name somewhere in the from line. And so I would even say Carly dash be beautiful. How do you say it?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And then it's a combination of your subject line and your pre-header text that entices people to open it. And you want them to open that email there and then, because quite a lot of the time we will say, oh, that sounds interesting, I'll read it later. And later never comes.
Yeah.
So you want it to be that interesting that they read it right there and then. And I just will show this to you, Carly. Helen, she's a beekeeper too.
Another one.
I've never met beekeepers, and now I've met two in one
day.
I know, it's crazy. So does that help with not annoying people? And sometimes they'll still get annoyed, and there's no accounting for people's reactions, because I still, even now, I get people unsubscribing from my email list, having joined it themselves, because I don't add anyone without asking. They will tell me that I'm sending them too many emails. I'm like, but you signed up for a weekly email. So some people it will just happen. And when people unsubscribe, you just need to let that go and not take it personally, and focus on the people who choose to stay on your list and give them the value that you said you will.
Can I ask? I have a customer base. So I have lots of customer details, sort of like the back end of my website. Now, the thing with legitimate interest and GDPR, does that mean, so I used to have an email, a newsletter years ago, and I didn't have that many subscribers. It was a sign up option on the website. I didn't have that many subscribers. Then GDPR happened. I got really scared, so stopped doing it. But I know that with GDPR, you've got the tick box of legitimate interest because they've placed an order.
Yep.
Is it not a good idea to initially send an email to everybody who's in that data set? And then if they don't want to hear from me again, let them unsubscribe.
Yeah, so you can what you can do is you can talk to those people based on what they've bought from you previously. So say somebody bought your lip balm, you can market them a product that's complementary to that lip balm because they've bought from you before. So I would absolutely go back to your customers and say, look, I'm going to start this regular newsletter, and here again, value statement, here are the things that you're going to get from it. If you would like to get this on a regular basis, whatever you decide, weekly, monthly, sign up here. But I wouldn't bin off the ones that don't sign up, because you can send them occasional emails that are product related, that you feel complement what they've bought before. And so that is kind of what I do as a service-based business. I don't have any physical products that people sell. So I've got two lists. I've got my list for my it's called the Marketing Morsel, which is going to develop and turn into much more of a club from the 1st of next month. And they get all the good content, and they're going to get even more exclusive content from February onwards. So they get a weekly email. From February, there'll be weekly lives in my Facebook group. To join the Facebook group, you have to get the email. There's going to be 4 member-only webinars in the year. I've got the Marketing Motivator, which is a quarterly forum with me that's invitation only. And then I've got this other list of people that have downloaded PDFs, that have come to webinars, that haven't agreed to be in that club. And so every week I'll send them something that is related. So, and I tell them, you're getting this email because you've liked my previous content, and I thought you would like this too.
Okay.
And the email that went out today to them was an invitation to my webinar tomorrow.
Okay.
So I haven't let them go altogether, but I don't give them all the good stuff. And if they want all the good stuff, then they have to say that second yes. They have to make that additional commitment. So I wouldn't get rid of everyone, but give them the chance to say to you, yes, I absolutely want to get this thing that's going to give me X, Y, and Z that nobody else is going to get.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Linda. She's just said that she loves my weekly. It's music to my ears. It's nice to get feedback. So in terms of content, Carly, what type of content have you thought would go down well?
So, I mean, I don't want it to be too salesy. As you already said, you don't sell in your email. But then I also feel there's only so much you can talk about skincare products. But then I do also have the addition that I can talk about bees and beekeeping.
Yep.
But then obviously I don't want it to become a beekeeping newsletter, because I do want sales to come off the back of it eventually. So I guess it's trying to find that balance between talking skincare and bees, not being too salesy, but encouraging those sales.
Yeah. So I would say just start experimenting with the content. So as you send out your emails, keep looking at the reports and look at what people are clicking at and what they're clicking to go and find out more about. And that's going to give you an idea of the types of content that people like and that they want to read about.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely should talk about your products because you want to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
So look at your newsletter. Like, say, for example, you send every month. Make 80% of that content about them and 20% about your products. So you might have, I don't know, this isn't going to work because it's a third and a third and a third, but I'm not good at maths. But you might have 3 things in your email, and 2 things are for them, and 1 thing is a product spotlight.
Okay.
So the product spotlight could include things like it could lead to the product that you want people to go and buy, but the way that you introduce it might be a rave review that you got for it.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, but I'd love to know more about how the honey can help my hands.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because my hands are literally, they're a mess. They're scabby, they're itchy, they're sore, they hurt when I move them. And so I'd love to know more about how that would help me.
Yeah, why it will help. I can tell exactly why it will help. So again, that's content for a winter newsletter.
Yeah. And also don't think about it as content for your newsletter, because I know you've got a blog on your website.
Yeah, I do, but have you noticed how not very up to date it is? Same reason.
But also, so there's content there already that you can use, right? There's content on that blog that you can use. So there's no, as long as it's still relevant today to people, you can reuse that content, but you can add to it. So if Claire really wants to know about how honey can help her and the benefits of using it, and you can create a blog post that can be one of the pieces of value in your newsletter that goes out. And even in that blog post, you can use that as a vehicle for sales. So at the end of that blog post, you can put a link to your hand care range, so people can go and find it after reading that blog post.
Yeah.
So don't think about content in compartments. Think about a big piece of content and figure out, like, how can I use this? Well, if it's a blog post, I can absolutely put it in my email. I can also share that entire blog post on social media, but I can cut it up in smaller pieces. So I can create little graphics with whatever content you've used. You might have had some statistics, you might have some quotes, you might have some reviews. I can create graphics and use that content multiple times, linking back to that blog post and getting people back to it. So always think about how you can make more out of one piece of content and where you can use it.
Okay.
But definitely, I think providing the value, if it's in your sort of brand personality, use humor, use, you know, if it's a little bit quirky, use that quirk. My brand personality is it's straightforward. I tell it as it is. I don't use jargon. I always explain things in a way that can be broken down and understood easily. I'm not funny. I'm always funnier by accident. I can never do jokes on purpose. So I don't try to be funny. I want to share experience, the benefit of my experience and the advice that I can help people to achieve what they want to achieve. So stay true to your brand personality. Use that as much as you can because people are buying from you. Let them get to know you. You've got your story on the website. That could be another piece of content for your newsletter. You let people know how you got started. So Richard's just asked, could the advantages of your product be wrapped into the everyday stories and experiences? Absolutely. So people love hearing about other people's experiences and how that product has helped them. So definitely do that as well. And that's why reviews are so important. We believe people over, we believe strangers over our own friends and family sometimes with products. We take those reviews. So Claire, you wanted to know how to get started, because you're starting from scratch. So we've talked a little bit about building your list. So I think I've kind of touched on this already, but get started on building the list. So even if you've only got 5 contacts, get those 5 contacts together, create an email and send it off to those 5 people. Because that's the thing that holds a lot of businesses back is actually creating that email. And it can be a little bit scary sometimes doing it because you're not sure if you're doing it right. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you're not doing it right because you'll get better as it goes along. The thing that you really want to do is get that confidence of sending stuff out. You're right, Carly.
Sorry, wrong hole. Feel free to mute me. I'll go quietly.
So just be yourself, and especially in this project that you're doing to help mums. Them knowing that you come from a place of having experienced and gone through the things that they're experiencing and going through is going to be absolutely crucial to them, for them to be hearing from somebody who really understands where they're at and what they're experiencing. So, don't hide that from them, and just be yourself, really.
Sorry, the puppy. So what would you, for subject lines and pre-header texts, I write emails and then don't send them because I get so caught up in that. So how would you go about doing that?
So subject line, I would say, so how I do it is I write the email first.
Right.
And then I go back and think about the subject line in the pre-header text.
Okay.
So when you're doing your subject line, think of ones that will perhaps entice people to open the email. So ask a question, maybe use an action word, maybe use a bit of humor. If you can do puns, I can't do puns, but if you can do puns, create a pun. Whatever's appropriate for whichever business you're working on. Make it so that people want to open that email, and that pre-header text is a sort of build on from the subject line. So what complements that subject line? So the email that I sent out today, I think it said something like, you still have time to register. You still have time register to watch live or on demand. So they know that there's something, they've got time, and they know that it's something that they have to register for, and they can watch it live or they can watch it on demand.
Okay.
So just I would always write the email first and then come back to the subject line and the pre-header text.
Okay.
Cool. We are coming to the end of our time. That's gone really quickly. Thank you both so much for joining me and being brave and open enough to say that you've got challenges with email marketing and want, discussing them so openly. Sometimes we feel that everyone else is doing better than us and we don't want to say where we're struggling. So I thank you for sharing. I will say that for you ladies and for everyone watching, I do have my webinar tomorrow, and I am going to show people how they can create their first email campaign and send it in 15 minutes or less. It's free to join. There's still time to register. It's not too late, and you can watch it live tomorrow, or if you register and can't come, you can get the replay. So do sign up for that, and I hope to see you there. But ladies, thank you for joining me today. And if you want to watch this back, it will be live on my Facebook page and YouTube channel straight after. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.